Loose Lips by Teresa McLean Watson. This started my obsession with this author. After reading this book, I want to say I read 4 other books by her, and I did not like any of them as much as I liked this novel. This was a 4.5 probably star reader, very close to 5, but not quite 5. Here we go. Liberal-minded journalist Josie Ross is notorious for putting people in their place, whether she's dealing with politicians or office gossips. But when she interviews the ultra-conservative but liberally handsome criminal court judge Benjamin Braddock, whom she has labeled public enemy number 1, she finds herself speechless. If Josie needed proof that opposites attract, she's got it now, for she's fallen hard and fast for a man as composed as she is excitable and as traditional as he is fine. But when the judge sets his sights on political office, a slew of seemingly respectable women come out of the woodwork to accuse him of sexual harassment. Unflappable, Ben stands by his innocence, yet refuses to offer evidence against what he believes are decent but misguided sisters. Josie's devoted her life to following facts, but can she learn to follow her heart? And can she do it before a shining career and a burgeoning love are destroyed? I thoroughly enjoyed this book when I read it, and considering the climate that we are in now with men who can't keep their hands and their dicks to themselves, I think this is a good book to read. Next is I Left My Back Door Open by April Sinclair. This would have been a 4-star read when I read it. This is the only novel that I've read by April Sinclair, though, so it's kind of like she was a one-hit wonder for me as far as books go, not anything against her, but just because I haven't picked up anything else by her. If I remember correctly, this is a story about an overweight African-American female dealing with the difficulties of her struggle with attempting to lose weight, as well as her struggle with getting in and maintaining healthy relationships. And that's all that I'm going to say. I really enjoy. Why have I not read anything else by her? While as I'm like sitting here talking about it, and the things that happen in the novel and the way that the main character deals with it, I can't even remember the main freaking character's name. I don't know why I haven't read anything else by her. Okay, and the synopsis is exceptionally vague, so what I will do is just read a very little bit from the first chapter. I am not young or thin or white or beautiful. I'm a slightly thick sister, but I know how to fix myself up. And I'm on the radio. My name is Daphne Dupree, and I play the blues. I liked everything about speaking into a mic. I even enjoyed positioning my mouth in front of one, and I loved the way my voice sounded, so rich and full when it came out. Maybe I just like to hear myself talk. That's all that I'm going to read because the synopsis is so vague, but in that you pretty much get the gist of who Daphne is, how she sees herself, how she feels other people see her, the things about herself that she likes. And as you read the novel, you get more into her head and see how much of each thing she sees as a negative and a positive, and how she deals with that in herself before being able to deal with how other people view her. I really, really like this book. I don't know why I haven't read anything else by this author. Next, I have Divas Inc. by Donna Hill. This would have been a 4-star book, not because it's the best written novel, not because it's got the best plot, but because I laughed out loud so many times while reading this story. It is Deuce Bigalow toned down with a female who's attempting to be a baller. It's so, and not like Deuce Bigalow is really, really slapstick. It's not slapstick, but I enjoyed this so much. This actually got me to send the first email I ever sent to an author. So if any of the authors who... Okay, so I ran out of space on my memory card, so I have no idea where this stopped. So I hate it when that happens. Okay. This book is the reason why I follow so many authors. So those of you who, if you end up watching this video, who are authors that I pretty much stalk on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you can all thank Donna Hill for that, because while I was reading this book, I had to email her. I think I sent her a message on Facebook, just sharing with her how many times I laughed out loud while reading this book in public places. Like, people probably thought I was crazy. They weren't that far off. But this book was freaking hilarious. Okay, here we go. And I'm like almost squinting because it's pitch black outside and my lights are super bright in my face. The lighting on this thing is probably all off. Anyway, Tiffany Lane and Chantel Hollis are bona fide divas in every sense of the word. They've also been Margaret Drew's best friends since they were children. Margaret has always been the plain Jane of the threesome, living vicariously through the exploits of her friends. But when Tiffany and Chantal head to Europe on an extended vacation, leaving Margaret to tend their apartments, she decides to see how the other half lives, co-opting their apartments, their boyfriends, current and past, their fabulous lifestyles, and Tiffany's very savvy pooch, Virginia. Margaret feels as though she has finally found the life she's always wanted and deserved. But her double life begins to catch up with her, and she might soon be homeless, manless, and friendless all in one swoop. Oh, like, I enjoyed this book so much. This is Deuce Bigalow, The Duff. And oh, what is the other one with, 10 Things I Hate About You? Was that it? No, the one with the girl who gets asked to the prom by the fine guy, and she's like really, really dowdy with glasses. By the time I edit this, I'm going to know what the hell that video is. But anyway, that's all of those wrapped into one hilariously enjoyable story. Next, I have Another Man's Wife by Shonda Cheeks. Not gonna lie, every time I say her name, I hear Mr. Cheeks. Okay. This is the first book that I read by this author. I think this was her debut novel, and her second novel I did not enjoy so much. I don't know if it's because of when it was set. It actually is set after, like, directly after 9/11 in New York, but I just didn't like it as much as I liked this. And I kind of want to say that there's a sequel to this that I did not even read because I didn't like the second novel that she put out. But I really enjoyed this. This would have been a 4-star read. Newcomer, oh no, that's about the author. When Yanni Fenton married Jaron Miller, she thought it would last forever. But 5 years ago, her husband of 15 years walked out on his family without a backward glance. Since then, Yanni and her 2 children have played a waiting game, certain that he was coming back. Now, with the help of her friends and her sister Asia, Yana is finally over her love hangover and ready to get on with her life. At a party, she meets Alex Chance, a prominent New York businessman who's looking for a relationship with a woman who isn't out for everything she can get. Their powerful attraction leads to a whirlwind courtship and a fairy tale-like wedding, but their happy ending is threatened by Jaron's sudden reappearance, which forces Yanni to face the truth about her marriage and the life-altering choice she will have to make as another man's wife. This is so good. It's got mystery, it's got romance, it's got what the hell, all in it. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I can't say much more without giving things away. Really, really enjoyed this. Highly suggest. Of the 10 books that I'm talking about, A Long Way From Home and Joplins Ghost by Tananarive Due would be on the reread list for next year, considering how long my list is of everything else that I want to read next year. If there will probably be no rereads. When I tell y'all this book is everything, it's historical fiction, it's possession, it's a ghost story, it's time travel. Tananarive Due took everything that you could want in a fantasy novel and threw it in here, and it's awesome. Let me read you the synopsis. When Phoenix Smalls was 10, she nearly died at her parents' jazz club when she was crushed by a turn-of-the-century piano. Now 24, Phoenix is launching a career as an R&B singer. She's living the life young artists envy and seems destined for fame and fortune. But a chance visit to a historical site in St. Louis ignites a series of bizarre, erotic encounters with the spirit who may be the king of ragtime, Scott Joplin. The music of Scott Joplin is strange enough to the ears of the hip-hop generation, but the idea that these antique sounds are being channeled by the protege of rap superstar G-Ron is nothing short of ludicrous. With growing violence in G-Ron's inner circle and a ghost bent on living forever through her, Phoenix's life suddenly hangs in the balance, writes Tanana Reed Dew. Can the power of her own inner song and the love of a music writer who believes in her gift give Phoenix the strength to fight, to live out her own future, or will she be trapped forever in Scott Joplin's doomed, tragic past? And I read this before I got Buffy because there's a post-it note in here with Buffy's information and her reader. So, yeah. This is a 5-star read. It's a chunker, but it is worth every single page. This book is the reason why I want to read Alice in Wonderland. I gave no kitties about the movie, the story, anything before reading this book and the connection that's created between Joplin and the story of Alice in Wonderland. It's because of this book. So if a book can not only get you involved in the story and take you in, absorb or have you absorb everything about it, and then make you want to read another book that you never gave a kitty about before, it's got to be good, right? This is a 5-star read. I freaking love, of all of Tanana Reed Dew's books. Mind you, I have not read her African Immortal series because I started it at book 2. So, yeah, that's got to start all over again. But of all of her books that I have read, this is it. This is the 5-star. That is the end of this long-ass video. If I decided to break it up into 2 parts, that means I uploaded them back to back. I am going to go. Thank you all for watching. And I hope you have a good weekend. Whenever you're watching this, I just totally spaced on my whole freaking outro. Yeah, gonna go. Mouth is a little dry. Kinda sorta tired. Read Black books in 2018. Peace out.